Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see Godzilla vs. Post-Colonial by Thomas King. Thomas King is an American Canadian writer and most of his works are based on North American First Nations and his pseudonym is Hartley Goodweather. His notable works are Medicine River, Greengrass, Running Water, The Truth About Stories and many more. And in this essay, Godzilla vs. Postcolonial, he says that he cannot accept all the works which are written after the colonizers have left to be considered as postcolonial. That is why he is given the title as Godzilla vs. Postcolonial, that is ancient versus present. And he says that when we are assuming certain things, then those assumptions are dangerous if they are not based on facts but only on fancies. For this, for us to understand, he gives the example of his own life, what happened in high school. When he was in high school, since he was very tall, his basketball coach considered that he will definitely be a best player and so he chose him in the team. And Thomas King also assumed that since he had height above all others, he can be a very good player. But only when he started his practice, he understood that he was not even a mediocre player and his basketball career ended with a torn knee just a day before his first match. And the same way he says, we should not approach anything on assumptions and in the same way the term post-colonial should not be approached only on assumptions but it should be based on facts. And he says this post-colonial itself must be classified as pre-colonial, colonial and post-colonial. Now what does he mean by pre-colonial is, he says that native literature and oral tradition and oral literature should be considered as pre-colonial. And he says that all the works which are produced by the native writers which shows the implications of oppressions by the colonizers only should come under post-colonial literature. And he disagrees with the idea that post-colonial refers only to the European colonialism and nationalism and that patriotic feelings are expressed in it. He says all these are assumptions and they are inadequate to explain Canadian literature. And he stresses that most of the post-colonial works are about the relationship between the colonizers and the colonized and what sort of implications the colonizers had given to the native people. And he says that native literature also comprises of tribal, interfusional, polemical and associational. And he is given these four terms because he says that these four terms are less centered, less nationalistic and it can refer to any literature from any of the countries in the whole world. And what does he mean by tribal literature is, he says when a literature is only within a particular tribe or a community and which is not shared outside, maybe because of language barrier or because of the strategies and tricks which they were protecting only within the community and which they have not shared with others. And for this he gives the example of UP tribal in USA. And then he talks about interfusional literature, which means inter means two different and fusion means blending. So this literature consists of oral literature in written form, but it can be well received by the receiver if it is read aloud. For example, he says Henry Robinson's Write It in Your Heart. It's a collection of short stories and he says when these stories are read loudly, they are well received by the people. And then he talks about polemical literature. Now this polemical literature can either be produced in native language or in colonizers language, that is it can be in English or French. And this literature generally deals with a clash between the native values and non-native values and contraries, and generally native values triumphs over non-native values, and it deals with the non-native implications and impositions in political, social and scientific areas and how the native people resist these and how they have sustained so far. And here language is not a barrier and it tells about the native community and how they sustain their tradition and culture and they are still living. And for this he states examples as Maria Campbell's Half-Breed, Beatrice Cullington's In Search of April Rain Tree, D.R.K. McNichol's The Surrounded and Wind from an Enemy Sky and Howard Adams' Prison of Grass. Then he talks about associational literature and he says that this literature describes about mainly about native community, but some are about even non-native community. It generally speaks about their daily activities, their life, their culture and interactions, and here the readers cannot expect anything dramatic because it is about everyday life. And for this he gives the example of Basil H. Johnston's Indian School Days, which is about the life in a boarding school, and Ruby Slipperjack's Honor the Sun, which takes place in Ontario, which is a place in Canada, and it is about the life of an isolated native community. And finally he concludes by saying that we should not place all literature which is produced after the colonizers have left under one term post-colonial, but we should categorize it under alternative headings. And he also states that he wants everyone to consider him as a native writer and not as a post-colonial writer. And this is what he has said in the essay. If you have anything more to add on to this, please write it in the comment box. It will be useful to others. Like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe. Thank you.